Hello, welcome back to 411 Motorsport, and today on the channel I'm going to do a few odd jobs on the MX5 and get it ready for a drift event tomorrow. So you might have already noticed this in the background. This is one of the jobs that I'll be tackling today. This is another boot lid that I picked up from Bournemouth yesterday from a guy who was breaking a Mark 2.5. It's exactly the same colour as ours, it has a lot less rust on it, and it's also got a ducktail spoiler, which is the look that I wanted to go for on this. So when I found one in the right colour with the spoiler already attached, it seemed to be a no-brainer. When I bought it, part of the inside was still in primer where some rust had been repaired. So yesterday I just went over it with a bit of Mazda Brilliant Black paint that I picked up from Halfords. That's all drying up nicely. I did another coat first thing this morning, so once that coat is dried we'll fit it onto the car. But the first job that I'm going to do is have a look to see why I'm still getting a squeal from one of the alternator belt or the power steering belt, and have a quick check of all the fluids, nut and bolt check everything in the engine bay, and just make sure that we're all ready to go for the event tomorrow. Alright, so after a very quick investigation, I've noticed that the alternator doesn't have its adjuster bolt. Not sure how long it's been like that, but that obviously isn't helping with a very loose belt, and is probably why the car isn't charging properly and why the battery takes so long to turn the car over. So I've just put a call out on Facebook just to see if anybody local has got one. If not, that might screw us over. My power steering belt is holding up quite nicely. That's nice and tight. What you're looking for when you put the belts on is that you can turn the belt 90 degrees but no further. That gives it enough play. So that's the fluids all checked, everything is good and as I would expect it to be. Power steering's good, coolant's good, oil's all up to the right level. After this event I'll probably do an engine oil flush, because it would have been 2 events on this oil and I don't know how old the oil is, so I'll change it after this event I think. Until I find the right part to fix that alternator issue, I can't really do anything else under the engine bay, so I've just kind of left it as is for now. The paint's dry on the boot lid, so I'm just going to crack on now and get that installed. So I've already stripped the wiring. It was just held on by cable ties all the way around to here, and just tuck that back out of the way. So I just need to grab the bolt now. Just need to grab a spanner now. I think that is going to be a 10mm at a guess, and just get this old one up. That's got 10mm on the socket already. Now that the boot lid's off, you can see the difference in the rust levels. So this is the one that I've just taken off. I think they all go rusty here. This one's particularly bad, and it was also had some rusting visible on the outside, whereas this one, it still has signs of rust. It probably won't last very long. I've treated it, primered it, painted it, It could probably do with going right back to bare metal, but you know what, it was cheap, I don't care. It looks good as is, so let's chuck it on. So I've not snugged it up completely, and I've left the catch off for now. So I'm just going to lower it down, see how it all lines up with the gaps either side, make any adjustments that I need to. With the catch off, it will be easy enough for me to make small adjustments. So that lined up pretty much first time. Minor adjustment on this side, but what you'll notice, and I didn't notice this when I picked this up in the rain and the cloud yesterday, is that in the sun this has a red metallic flake in it. So I don't know if there were two blacks available or if there was another black on the Mark 2.5, which is what this boot lid came off, but it looks, I mean, once it's dirty, nobody's going to notice anyway. But I really like this spoiler. I think it really suits the car. I think it's the perfect spoiler without being too high. Some of them are pretty massive. I think this one is just spot on. So all I'm going to do now is put the lights on, put the catch on, and make sure everything's all lined up and working fine. Alright, that was a nice easy job. Apart from the colour difference, I'm really pleased with this. I think the spoiler looks absolutely spot on. It closes, it looks really nice. So I put a call out on Facebook for somebody who has the alternator bracket. Within half an hour, a guy called Tom messaged me, said I've got one, sent me a picture of it. So I've hopped in the trusty steed, the T4, and I'm just going to head over to Thatcham. It's a bit of a way away from me, it's like 45-50 minutes, but obviously I need that part for tomorrow. I don't know how long it's been like that, but I don't want to leave it like that anymore, and I don't really want to risk driving it, especially on a drift day. So let's go. And through the magic of television, I'm back. Well, YouTube, not television, but you know what I mean. And all that way, it was a 50-minute trip there, 50-minute back, but he was the first guy to come up with the goods. He had one lying around in his garage. Huge thanks to Tom for messaging me, and this is what we were missing. So I'll crack on now and get this installed into the car and get the alternator adjusted up properly. Right, so I've installed that. It's very straightforward. Just put the long bolt through the bracket, and then a bolt through the alternator, through the bracket, and then into the adjuster. Just put that washer there just to make it a little bit more secure. So now 13mm bolt on there to adjust it up, to adjust the tightness, and then we'll lock it off with a 13 there. Another thing that I completely forgot about from the last drift day was when the power steering belt snapped. It caused this pipe to get a little nick in it. I taped it up on the day just to keep it in. It wasn't leaking and hasn't been leaking a lot, probably thanks to the tape, but you can see that there has been a little bit of seepage just from there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this. I'm going to clamp it first and then cut where the nick is and just slide it up onto here. Okay, so now that's all buttoned up, I'm going to start the engine once I find the key, and just make sure that the alternator belt stops squealing, and also that there's no leak coming from that coolant pipe. Well, the squealing stopped, so that's a good sign. Hopefully that means that the battery will actually charge now, and I won't have to deal with that slow crank. Unfortunately I can't see that pipe from here, but I can't start the car without the crossover pipe on it, so let's just see if I can get in there and have a look. Okay, so I've been watching it for a while and used my camera to get in there to find the pipe. It's not been dripping, so I call that a win. The next thing I'm going to do is put my drift tyres on the rear ready. Because it's only Aldershot, it's only 10 minutes from my house, and to save time in the morning when I get to Rushmore Arena, I'm going to put my drift wheels on the back, and then just take these as just a pair, just in case I go through them. It's another damp day, so I don't think I'll go through a set of tyres, but I like to take a pair just in case. You know, you never know what's going to happen with punctures or anything like that. So I'm going to crack on and do that now. So the wind blew my tripod over and broke the mount that I use to hold my phone on the tripod. So for the rest of this video, you're going to have anywhere that is a fixed position, I've switched to the old GoPro, but I'll carry on using my phone for the rest of the talky bits. So yeah, I'm just about to swap over the rear tyres, get the drift ones on there ready. They've still got loads of tread, so perfectly road legal, and then put the spares inside. After that, I'm gonna show you everything that I'm gonna take to the event with me. I'll lay it out on the floor and show you everything, and then pack it all down, and then we'll be ready to go tomorrow morning. The reason for running those as drift wheels is I want to burn the tyres off and use them up so that I can put my Michelin Pilot Sport 3s on there to use them for auto solos, but also for road use as well, because they'll have a lot more grip, especially with winter coming up. I want a nice grippier tyre on this, just for when it's raining and cold. So that's the wheels put on. Stick with these on the front. These are quite grippy, especially when they're aired down to sort of 24-25 psi. The car is buttoned up, so now it's just time to pack everything that I need for tomorrow. Alright, so I've pulled together everything I think I'm going to need for tomorrow. Apologies if the wind is too much. It always seems to be windy when I want to film. But anyway, so we'll start off with a pair of tyres and my jack. This is an Arcan 2-ton jack that I bought from Costco. It's really heavy duty, but I trust it, and it's a really nice design. It's low entry, so it gets under the car without having to get it up on blocks or anything like that. We've got a pair of axle stands just in case. I don't need them obviously for changing tyres, but if I need to get under to do anything else, it's useful to have them. I've got this little bit of lino. You may have seen this in the videos before. I've got two pieces like this, and they're great for laying down on the floor, especially on rocky surfaces like I've got here outside my garage, and where most of the pits areas are at Aldershot and other raceways. It's not smooth concrete, so it's nice to have something to lie on if you do need to get under the car. Obviously my Ryobi Impact. I'll take both of my batteries for that, and that just goes into the little bag there, along with the 21mm socket. I know that this isn't an impact socket, but it's the only one that fits inside those wheels. My impact one doesn't fit inside those, so that plus an extension that lives in there, along with my gloves. And then all of this other stuff lives inside this nice ammo tin. It's compact, it's easy to move around, and stops all the stuff from getting wet if it rains. So inside the ammo tin I like to keep my my 3/8 socket set. I don't bother taking my big set, I just take a 3/8 and my little 1/4 inch set, because that covers most of the things on this car. I need to find that extension. That's just a Halfords Advanced set. I think it cost less than 20 quid, and I've had it donkey's years. So that goes in and goes at the bottom. Another thing I like to have is a bit of blue roll and some WD-40. You never know when either of those will come in handy, so that goes in like so. I've also got a roll of spanners, all the way up from 6 to 17. Very rarely do I need to use these, but on the last drift day I did use the 12mm to change that belt over, so that gets rolled up and popped in as well. Spark plugs, set of 4 new spark plugs, never know, along with a set of plug wires. Again, Mazda MX5s are notorious for them. I've got them, so I might as well have them with me. A MAF, again, probably won't ever need it, but it's good to have it there just in case. Spark plug socket. The 2 belts, so the alternator belt and the power steering belt. Now obviously I used the power steering belt on the last one, but I keep that packet just so that I know the part number. And that's the alternator belt in there just in case I need that. Roll of gaffer tape, never be without a roll of gaffer tape, and a torch inspection lamp, and I'll put my little LED one in there as well. So that covers the majority of my tools. That box, and that fits in the boot quite nicely. I've got some oil, coolant and power steering fluid, again just in case. MX5s are known to boil over their power steering fluid, so it's good to have some spares. And then I pop this in as well. This is mainly electrical stuff with a little screwdriver set. This is the one I keep in my van when I am going anywhere camping, just in case. It's got fuses in it, multimeter, tools to rewire anything if I need to. That goes in, and then finally I put in my little Blue Point 1/4 inch set. This set I've had for about 15 years. Managed to not lose any pieces except for the actual ratchet itself, which I broke, but I do have another one which doesn't fit in the box, so that normally lives in there. So that's everything that I take with me. Now I just need to squeeze it into there. One thing that I did take with me to Birmingham, which I haven't packed for tomorrow, is a couple of jerry cans worth of fuel. Now, the reason for that was because I didn't know how much fuel I was going to be using, since it was my first time, and I didn't know where the nearest petrol station was. This, I know there's a petrol station around the corner, and I know that I don't need much fuel to get home at the end of the day. So I'm going to go and fill up with, fill the tank now, and that should be enough to see me through the whole day. But that's why I've got more room in the boot, because I don't have 10 litres of fuel filling it up as well. Okay, so that's it for this video. Join me next time to see how I get on at Aldershot and my second drift day. See you later.